Hello, and welcome. I am Kai from Garage 48, and we are here because we are organizing the biggest, the most exciting Space Tech Hackathon yet. It's the Space Tech Europe online hackathon, and it's held on the 3rd to 5th of December. But up until then, we have many things planned. So interviews, pre-events, matchmaking, everything to get you excited about space technology and about taking part in the hackathon. So today, we are here just because of that, to get you excited, to get you thinking about your ideas and the team that you're going to put together. So that's why we have invited some pretty smart people. That's why I'm very happy to welcome Jaan Praks today here. He's from Aalto University, an assistant professor there, and also the leader of the Aalto Space Technology and Microwave Remote Sensing Research Group. I even had to read this from my notes because I'm very excited to hear from Jaan what it actually means and what does it do every day. So hello. Jaan, I'm happy to catch up with you as well, as we've been in many events together as well. So I have my another legacy T-shirt on from Garage Space Tech Hackathons, and saying hello to you. How are you?
Hello, Kai. Really happy to see you. Happy memories from previous Garage 48 hackathons. These have been really fun time and great events. So glad to be here in the studio.
So as a very veteran and mentor and participant of hackathons, that's my first question to you. What are the tips? What are the good things to do as a participant before the hackathon to really succeed?
I really recommend you to perhaps take a tour in the topic and Google a bit, watch some YouTube videos, make you familiar with the topic a bit more. And of course, gather a great team, have a good spirit, and entrepreneurial attitude towards your ideas and push them through.
Very good. So, as I said in your introduction, what you're doing and what's the title, but I'm very excited to hear what it actually is that is your focus topic today, and how did you actually get started with space tech?
Yeah, I have been in space technology for, let's say, a bit more than 10 years with small satellites. I have been working with remote sensing even longer. But I was dragged into the small satellite technology and space technology around 2010 when we started to build a small satellite called Aalto-1. It was the first Finnish satellite eventually. And then we sort of started the whole new space era in Finland. And nowadays we have many big companies grown out of very small companies from Aalto University, which are already changing the world in a space technology area. I myself, I'm teaching space technology at Aalto, and we're still building new satellites. So we have been built 2 satellites from ground up, and we are very close now to launch the 3rd satellite, and several others are also on the drawing table and in the building. So we are building satellites, and I'm educating people, trying to inspire them to build even more satellites. At the same time, we also test some technologies which are crucial for more sustainable space technology. So we have systems which can break the satellite speed and bring them down to the atmosphere. But this is only a small fraction what you can do for sustainable space technology.
That's very interesting because, when we started Space Tech Hackathons here in Estonia, then it was just SQ1 launching, right? And it was such a exciting and kind of, really, really different topic for me as well. So can you talk a little bit more about Aalto-1? How did it get started, and is it still up there? What's happening with Aalto-1?
Yeah, Aalto-1 was a student project. We started 2010 with a small idea, with a small group of students, and we just had like 7 students thinking like what we should do about it, that Finland doesn't have a satellite still. And we designed a small satellite, and the student group actually carried out through the years, built the entire satellite, and by 2015 we already actually had an operating, or not operating, but working satellite on the ground. And then unfortunately we had to wait many years before we got actually to space because of the various problems with the launches. But eventually, 2017, in midsummer, the first Finnish satellite was launched from India, and Aalto-1 satellite is still operating and in orbit, and we are still using the satellite. And from this original group who started to work with the satellite, several startup companies have been grown. For example, Isand, Kuva Space, Arctic Astronautics, and they are all going towards the bigger dreams now. And because of Isand and Kuva Space, which have been bringing millions and millions to Finland, to the space technology sector, Finland has already 17 satellites in space. So the area is growing really, really fast.
Very cool. I remember when the first hackathon happened, and I was knocking on S-Cube's door saying, hey guys, I know that you're really busy building a satellite, but maybe you want to just come to a hackathon as well. And they just looked at me going, hey, we're scientists here, leave us to our very important work. But then, when they did come and they took part, then they were quite excited that you can actually do something in 48 hours. How do you feel? What can you actually do? Because we're building satellites. We need time. We need, very focused work hours rather than going crazy and hacking for 48 hours. So where do you see the balance is?
Of course, building an actual space mission and even more building an actual working satellite takes usually years, but nowadays can be also quite fast process. However, in 48 hours you can come up and polish really, really nice ideas. And I've seen many ideas which have been born in a hackathon, developed further in perhaps further hackathons, and which have been actually producing a working profit-making companies. So this is a great, let's say, laboratory for your ideas, to test your ideas with your friends, with your team, also with your opponents and with your mentors, and sort of get into the topic, bring fresh ideas to the area, and doing something which has been never done before. Really
nice. I really like that you are bringing this out, because hackathons they are about community, right? And I see that space tech community kind of growing from year to year and bigger and more connected between different countries. Do you think the cooperation between regions and countries, nations, is it good? How do you feel?
The cooperation between countries and nations is absolutely essential, especially if we talk about space and sustainable space. So it's all about cooperation. In order to manage the space technology in space more sustainably, we have to cooperate, because there is only one space, only one, let's say, altitude for orbits, or several altitudes, but every single altitude has many satellites with a different nationalities, and we have to cooperate in order to manage it all. So it's not possible to make space sustainable without having a good connection between all different nations.
I really agree, and I think it's such an interesting topic, how the regulation is formed around it as well, and how it's still kind of developing, and we are the ones kind of deciding, right, how it will be. But if we talk about sustainability, what does it even mean, or how can we influence it or support it? One is, of course, regulation, but what else can be done?
Yeah. The basic problem is actually very simple. So there is in certain orbits and in certain altitudes, there just starts to be too many satellites. They start to collide and then perhaps break each other, and then one of the orbit altitudes might be unusable for hundreds of years, which is not good for humankind. How to get rid of old satellites, how to prevent sort of establishing new space debris, how to manage the orbits, how to bring them old ones down, new ones safely up, break them down if needed, how to manage, how to collaborate. There's a lot of different problems, which I recommend if you start to work with problems, try to systematize this somehow so that there is let's say, technical problems about like orbit change and breaking the satellite down from orbit. There is also a general knowledge problem, like people don't know what space is, why do we need space, and so many aspects, political aspects, even military aspects. So it's good to give a thought to all these aspects and perhaps target only one of the aspects and coming out with a new idea for something which makes the situation better.
Yeah, I'm interested that you mention education, or, the awareness, and people don't know actually a lot about space. And, for myself, the journey has been exciting as well, just to realize how daily space tech is, or how much we are actually dependent on all the data coming from space and going to space and the technology around it. So what do you think? How can we bring that awareness up, or how should we? What's space education right now tackling?
Making more hackathons. I think we are going to the right direction. So I'm trying to educate people at Aalto University. You are making hackathons, which is educating people as well. So yes, and perhaps also our students, we have to remind them that they are also ambassadors of the space technology and space, and they should educate their friends and their community after the hackathon as well.
Yeah, I really like that idea. Yesterday I was listening something on, of course, climate change, very hot topic all the time, and then there was an idea to make it mandatory in school to have, a lesson for all the ages about climate change, so basically our planet, right? And I was kind of thinking, well, we should really be not thinking only about our planet, but more in a wider scale, right? And that people actually do get this new knowledge and new ways of thinking already from kind of day one, right, when they go to school. Cool. But when talking about other big challenges, well, we mentioned sustainability and education and awareness. Is there any other kind of challenges in the space sector that you would recommend looking into when participating?
Space is really fascinating area. So I believe that a lot of future of humankind is connected to space in one or another way. Space travel, colonizing other planets, space resources, making bigger sustainable space stations, having space hotels, what we should do with space tourism, how to keep the pollution down, and just having a space infrastructure starts to be absolutely inevitable for any society. So that's why different countries have been building their own navigation satellite constellations, their own remote sensing satellite constellations, and so on. Solving any kind of global problem on Earth starts to need also a global satellite network. So space technologies is popping up everywhere. And I really I don't know where to start or where to end. It's that the field of space technology is vast and it's a future. So whatever area you are going to bring solutions takes us forward, step closer to our glorious future.
What about any kind of exciting solutions, or either hackathon projects or maybe already company spin-offs from Aalto, whatever? Is there something that you would really mention as projects that inspire or are a little bit crazy? Let's leave Elon Musk out of it, but more kind of smaller projects that would also give us insight what actually can be done, and kind of like a startup world or mindset?
Yeah, for example, let's take a small startup in Finland called Aurora Propulsion. They are making propulsion devices for small satellites. And what they are doing is bringing a step closer to the world where the small satellites can actually manage their orbit, can lower their orbit. They also have been commercialized this very interesting invention in Finland called plasma brake or plasma sail. And with this plasma sail, they can brake a small satellite down from orbit in a couple of months. So they are now just in this moment waiting for their first launch of their first demonstration satellite, which should try to demonstrate this orbit lowering capacity of this plasma braking device. And this has been never done before, although it's basically a simple column drag device, which has been just not tested yet before. And so there are many ideas which are floating around and can be getting us closer to the sustainable use of space. For example, ISI, who is nowadays a big radar provider, but they are doing very small radars. And these radars can be used for flood detection, iceberg detection, ice mapping, at different topics which are also very important for remotely sensing climate change. So, yes, propulsion technologies in Finland, we do not develop really rockets yet, but you never know. There might be also a company popping up in the near future which starts to make rockets or rocket launches. One of the companies in Finland is called Reorbit, for example. They have a very interesting take in sustainable space. They, for example, try to build a platform which can accommodate guest payloads which are launched one by one to the platform, and then use this platform to make the mission for these payloads, and later on also dispose these payloads safely back to the atmosphere after mission is done. So it's a huge amount of different ideas floating around.
Cool. Is there something also that you know and can mention about education? Are they are more programs and hackathons like these, or is there any kind of startups as well working on this?
Yes, in Finland we have Arctic Astronautics, who is making educational satellite kit called KitSat, and KitSat is already nowadays actively used in different schools and different education organizations to teach about space and satellites, especially for kids and also teachers. I think educating teachers is also a very important aspect which has been not addressed very well, perhaps. But happily, there are a couple of very nice activities on this region as well. So I know ESA has this kind of system where they also teach teachers to teach space technology and space topics to students. So we are getting forward.
Very good. I'm starting to wrap up here, but I was thinking maybe you can do, then a summarize of your talk and do a little pep talk to the people that are thinking about participating in the hackathon, and then maybe a little call to action to them why they should decide to take part in the Space Tech Europe hackathon.
Space technology is the future. So participating in the hackathon, you are getting first glimpse and first touch to this really futuristic area, which is already here. So I really recommend everybody to bring up their ideas and participating in the hackathons, making the international contacts with each other, and also testing your ideas. So sometimes the ideas might be so crazy that they do not work, but definitely in this hackathon you have a possibility to reflect on these ideas with a best specialists, and perhaps even the craziest idea can lead to some kind of working concept which not necessarily is exactly the same as you were thinking, but it might be even more radical than you expected. So come to the hackathon, bring up your ideas, take with you your friends, and it will be great fun.
Thank you, Jaan. That's super. From my side as well, I'm going to add to it, hackathons are not the place where, ideas go in from one side and startups come out from the other. It's more about community. It's more about building your network, understanding, the field, testing your skills, meeting new people. So really, my little pep talk to you as well as a thinker or a listener, then come to the hackathon, see what we have to offer, meet some new people, have fun, and really learn about space tech that is all around us. So thank you very much for listening, and thank you, Jaan, as well.
Have a nice hackathon.